listening to Somos Hollywood, a podcast where Latinos in film and TV talk about their recent projects and the ongoing fight for more inclusion in the industry. I mean, we're already here, and we're not going anywhere. So yeah, apúrense. We are ready. We are talented. We are Hollywood. Somos Hollywood.
I want to know, when you look back at where you started, was there a particular role or moment when you realized, oh, okay, this is no longer just something I'm trying to break into. It's actually something I could build a career on.
I love that question because I think like a lot of people really do take advantage of or take for granted the idea that like there's a working class actor, and to even break into the idea of like, oh, I'm working as an actor and as a Latino, that's insane.
Right.
Like, like my parents were like, maybe you want to be a nurse, maybe you want to be a doctor, that would be great. And
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I want to be an actor, and they were like, ay, Jesucristo. Niña, ¿por qué? So that to answer your question, like that idea of like, am I going to break through as a working actor, as an
Right.
actor that doesn't have to have a serving job or a yoga teaching job,
Right.
that always loomed in my mind. And I was 20 years old when I like committed to pursuing acting as a career. And I remember I was in my childhood home because I still hadn't moved out.
Right.
And I was taking a shower, and I was really thinking about it as I was washing my hair. And I thought like, okay, if by 25 I'm not a member of the union in good standing, I'll go back to school and pursue that nursing degree that my mom wanted me to have. And if by 30 I'm not working as an actor with no side gig,
hmm
then I will go back to school. And so I got my SAG card when I was 23.
That's young. Yeah.
Because I'm a overachiever. And I started working full time as an actor when I was 27. And the role that I really was like, holy shit, I'm doing it, was in voiceover. It wasn't just one role. It was
Right.
both those roles were concurrently working together with Star Wars Resistance as Toradoza and DC Superhero Girls as Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. And that's when it really hit me that like I was like, I don't have time for everything. I don't have time to go teach a yoga class and learn these lines and read all of these scripts. And I had a friend who was like, so why not just quit? And I was like, okay, yeah, why don't I just not teach anymore? Uh, and yeah, again, as a Latino, it's like, we have to work. Like, that's that. You have to work. So it was always in the mindset of like, if I'm not hustling, if I'm not working, then I'm not working. But that was a moment where I was 27, and I was like, oh, I don't have to like work all of these things because I'm working. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy with the way that, yeah, we our culture thinks about that. This is, I just told you I've been doing this for 25 years, but it's never been my full-time job. It's always been
Yeah.
my second career. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
because the arts journalism is the first thing that is getting cut these days. So it's like you can't really find a full-time job that you can live off of doing what I do.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
totally. I feel
it's
that. I
crazy.
feel
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And there are still moments where I'm like, maybe I need to go teach a class or two. Because it's so inconsistent.
Right.
It's difficult to wrap your head around like the arts is a career that I want to
Yeah.
have, that I can have.
Yeah.
So thank you for siguiendo la lucha.
Oh, you too, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up, what did representation look like to you as a kid, and how did that definition change now that you're the person, right? That you're the person now that young Latina actresses or fans might see on screen,
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't see that many Latinas
right?
on TV, but I also did because I joke around like Selena. I learned Spanish through telenovelas.
Mhm. Right.
um, my mom always, not always, but for the most part, she always had Univision or Telemundo on while she was cooking dinner. And that's where I recognize that, like, Latina women, we come in all shapes, sizes, hues, and from different parts of the world, and we can be both the villain and the ingenue and the old wise mother, and we can be all these things. Luckily, because I got to watch telenovelas, I was like doing my math homework, and I was like, "Oh my god, no, Talia, no, don't fall in love with that man." um, so I did have this sense of like representation is possible, and it's just a matter of like, do you speak Spanish while you're acting or do you speak English while you're acting?
Mhm.
And the big difficulty for me was that, like, I know these women exist and I know that we can be anything on TV, but I don't see that in English. I see men, Latino men in English, and
Mhm.
oftentimes they're not portrayed well. um, like one of my moments of like, holy crap, that's him, was I wish I could remember his name right now. Fact check me later if you want.
Yeah.
But it was a telenovela actor. I think he was like the lead in the telenovela Gaviota. And I saw him in a movie, in an American movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, he made the crossover, he made the crossover. And he literally only had 2 lines. And
Oh,
I was
really?
like, I know he's capable of these deep, beautiful, crying monologues. Why did they just give him 2 lines? So that was heartbreaking. So American television representation was always really heartbreaking because it was like, I know we can do this. Um, and I think it's finally kind of, it is getting to a point where other people are recognizing, like, the Pit, they have a Latina surgeon doctor, and I'm like,
Right.
yes, we finally are doing it. We're doctors. We're not just nurses anymore. We're doctors. Mom, see, it's possible. I can play one on TV.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah. So it's, I think we're making strides, and it's difficult because it does feel like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but
Mhm.
it is also hopeful, and I still have that feeling inside me of like, telenovelas are still doing it, like we're still capable. It's just a matter of bringing it to the other side.
Right, right. Yeah. That's the way that I've been working my entire career. Like for example, The Odyssey, which is the biggest film of the
Mhm.
year so far, just came out and I'm like, okay, it'd be great to interview Matt Damon, but look, there's 2 Latinos in his crew. I want to interview both of them. And one of them is, of course,
Yeah.
Jesse Garcia or Jesse Garza, who was in Flaming Hot.
Yes.
So yeah, so I reached out to them and I want to talk to them about now we're seeing Latinos in, Greek mythology, which is not something we would have gotten 30 years ago, right? So you have to
Right,
think about it like
right.
that.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a great reminder to the powers that be that, like, we've been everywhere, guys. Like, we are
Yeah.
everywhere. So it's, yeah. Oh, I hope you get to interview them
Oh, I
too.
did both of them already. Yeah.
You did? Oh my
Yeah.
God, how amazing.
Yeah. It's
I
great
want
just to
to
talk.
interview you about them now. Like, what was it like?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I asked them. What was it like being, you're a second in command to Matt Damon on those ships. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, but
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
they do some crazy stuff. They
They
fight,
do.
they fight monsters and they battle gods and, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And it's like, what a world, what a world. We never could have even imagined that. Or we
Yeah,
did imagine that, and now it's actually coming true. So, oh,
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
So
So,
you've been a part of a lot of universes, really popular ones. You brought up Star Wars, DC. You're like part of the DC canon, Disney Descendants, Warcraft. I know you did Warcraft as
yeah,
well. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a pretty remarkable collection of fandoms, right? So do you think of yourself as a genre actor at this point, or is it more interesting to you that each of these worlds has allowed you to explore like completely different characters?
Definitely the latter.
Mhm.
I don't. First follow-up question. What is a genre actor?
True, true. Yeah.
um,
Just
yeah, like I guess comedy has always, it's the genre that I've trained in the most. However, yeah, I think each universe has its own signature,
Hmm.
and even though the majority of the shows that I've been in or the films that I've been in are comedies, there's different types of comedies in and of itself,
Right.
and I've been very lucky that a lot of the scripts that have fallen in front of me, fallen on my desk, as they say, it has a little bit of everything in it.
Right.
It's comedic, and there's this heartfelt experience between Tora's family, or it's a comedic show, and there's a big emphasis on the importance of friendships and how friendships get us through hard times in DC, and even Tomatoes. Like weird, silly. We got puppets, kind of funny, but it is also at its core a story about carrying the torch and passing it on to a next generation. So I try to look at it both ways, and I try to tap into like what is the heart of this script, what is the heart of these characters,
Right.
and whatever's funny is kind of out of my control. Hopefully we make it funny, but also I'm not like, as most actors say, we're not playing at the funny, we're playing at the truth of the character. So am I a genre actor? Perhaps. But yeah, there's been a couple of things that have come across my desk that I've been fortunate to play with that are very dramatic and different and interesting. And I think that the luxury I have right now is to
Right.
find things that I think are interesting, as opposed to just like, I gotta do it all.
Yeah, exactly. So when you go into one of these like these huge franchises like Star Wars, does your relationship with that fandom or with that franchise change once you started seeing how personally people connect with these things? Because I mean, there's some crazy Star Wars fans out there. I'm sure you.
Dedicated Star Wars fans.
We'll say
Dedicated
that. We'll say
fans. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting because yeah, like I was always a fan as well. And it's interesting to be a part of the fandom in a sort of like flash in the pan experience. Because there are other actors, like Sam Witwer, that like Star Wars fans will, he's Darth Maul, the voice of Darth Maul, and fans will pick him out no matter where he is in the world.
Hmm.
And if you go to a con, he's got to be surrounded by, uh, the word is Secret Service, essentially, because the fans will rush him, and the fans want to touch him and be around him. And it's like, wow, what power. He is a god, um, and I having that moment of like deity experience was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a mind bender and kind of really weird that now that I'm not a part of that franchise, there are a few people that are like, "Hey, it's you," and I'm like, "Yeah," but for the most part, it's back to an anonymity that like
Right.
is very relieving, because then it's like I went to San Diego Comic-Con to help promote uh, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and most people didn't recognize me, and I was
Right.
like, cool, I'm gonna go wander around for a couple minutes, I'm gonna go see a different exhibit right now and not worry about it. And then there was also this moment of like, we did a panel and I was like, so are we going backstage? And they're like, no, miss, you can go out the front door. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm a normie again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where like being a part of the fandom is a very heavy responsibility, and you have to represent the franchise well.
Right.
And then at the same time, when you're done with the franchise, everyone's kind of like, peace, thank you. And it for me, it's like a craving to be in the franchise again, but
Right.
also a relief to be like, I'm just a normal girl again. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
Well, you brought up this one actor that has a little bit of power. Speaking of having power, Jessica Cruz is such an important character in the DC universe because come on, she's a Latina superhero. We don't get a lot of those. So, what did you want young viewers, especially young Latinas, to understand about Jessica that maybe goes beyond, simply saying, "Look, there's a Latina superhero now."
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely wanted her to be kind of a full character.
Hmm.
Lauren Faust and Sam Riegel, so the creator and the cast director, were both very open to my ideas because they both were like, well, we're not Latinos, so what's it like? And uh, I brought to bring like a lot of authenticity to it, which was awesome. And like they to their credit, they were always like, that's a fascinating experience. I had no idea that you would have had like such reverence to your parents. And it's like, well, that's the thing. We have to be, at least in my family. And the importance of school was also really big. And like the importance of, I grew up on a ranch. So like animals were a part of daily life. And when we got Dexstar, I was like, yes, animals. You have to care for this animal so well because it is our stewardship responsibility. And that's something my parents taught me. Um, so I was really capable of bringing in a lot of backstory and a lot of background that was my own while
Hmm.
also filling in the superhero world.
Right.
And there definitely were moments where, like, I was like, so I think this should be this, this, and this way. And they were like, so we love that. And it's not canon. And I'd be like, ah, okay. Or we love that. And yes, that's accurate to the Jessica Cruz story in the comic books, but this is for 8-year-old kids.
Right,
So
right.
we can't bring in the class and the racial struggle just yet. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So just out of curiosity, like
mhm.
when you hear news like when Batgirl got canceled and we have Leslie Grace in that lead role, it's like, oh my God, why did they do this? This could have
Yeah,
been incredible. Does
yeah,
that cross your mind and you're thinking about the opportunities that are missed out of something like that?
yeah, yeah, all the time. Uh, I have a core group of girlfriends that we call ourselves Las Latinas, Latina
Hmm.
maid. Um, and one of our favorite things to do over like wine and cheese is to gripe about how, uh, Batgirl got canceled or what's your next audition? Well, it's a maid again, of
Hmm.
course. Um, and it's just, I I'm a naturally skeptical and a naturally suspicious person. um, but I do try to fight the suspicion of like it's by design. And I'd
Right.
love to believe that it's just people in power are typically white and they're just not presented with the facts that like unless you're even if you're watching telenovelas, you're not getting a full scope of what we are capable of doing and
Mhm.
having a superhero um, would be really, really great for our young girls, our young boys too.
Right.
That like we have our own. What's the right word that I'm looking for? Because kids really being in kids television and kids medium, it's very important for children to identify quickly with their
Hmm.
superheroes, with this imaginary person that can fix everything. And to not have this imaginary Batgirl that can fix everything, it's harder then for us to believe and harder for our, Latino children to believe that anyone can come save me
Hmm.
specifically and quickly. Sure, Superman saves everybody. Sure, Batman saves everybody. But if we are not seeing strife and evil being battled by our own kind, it's harder to
Hmm.
believe that we're capable of doing that.
Right.
So that's why it's a huge blow to me that Batgirl got canceled. Um, And then as an actor, it's also kind of like, cool, we don't get to be the center. And like, no, we're
Right.
also as a Latino kid, like I was always told, like, don't be tan presumida, like relax, you don't have to be the center of attention, you're not the center of attention. But it's also like, because of that, I crave for
You crave it more.
us, yeah, exactly, I crave for us to be the center of attention, and that got taken away again, and now we
Yeah.
have to deal with just being the sidekick again. And it's like,
Yeah. Well, speaking of having kids be Latino kids being the center of attention, I was really, really disappointed when Primos did not get a second. That's a perfect example, right? It became the subject of public controversy almost immediately after the first trailer was released.
yeah.
Um, with the criticism focusing, which is weird, it focused on elements of its portrayal of Mexican and Latino culture. So, what was it like to suddenly find yourself in the middle of a much larger debate about who gets to define what authentic Latino representation is?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
um, so if you Google
I have. I've written about it.
Myrna Velasco's
Yeah,
reaction to
I did. I've written about it.
it was frustrating. It
Yeah.
was really frustrating is the only way I can really explain it. And immediately I was frustrated. And uh, in that moment of time, I was living my dream of not only being the lead of an animation, which was a goal I had set out for myself the minute I became an animation voiceover actor. And it was happening, and it afforded me all of these freedoms, both like creatively and financially. I was living alone in my first apartment without any roommates. I had my cat, and it was me and my cat alone in this apartment. And I
Right.
remember it being kind of chilly, and I was so excited because our creator had said, keep an eye out because our first trailer is going to have a sneak preview, so just take a look at it. And I was like, yes, yes. And I take a look at it, and it's just comment after comment after comment of just not nice. And I wish I had a friend with me, because a friend would have been like, don't post that. Don't post that, girl. Don't post that. But I didn't, and I posted it. And now looking back, it was just really frustrating because the conversations in the booth, the conversations in the writer's room were always surrounded and centered around the idea of, how do we say this truthfully? How do
Hmm.
we depict this as truthfully as possible? And with as much honor as possible. And so it was so frustrating to get this backlash, and it's like, yeah, did we maybe not think a little deeper into some of the kids' names? Sure. But also, like, I grew up with gorditas, flaquitas, enanos, so to me it was like, yes, not. I have a cousin, shout out, his nickname growing up was Chingilingis. Like, that's not a nice name, but also we made it, he owned it,
Right.
to this day we call him Ingy, and like, it didn't cross my mind that
Didn't cry.
that
Yeah.
would, like, that's, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, the chancla's probably not a good thing to show everyone, but it's also kind of funny for us,
Right. Right.
and is it something we're going to perpetuate to our children? No, because you shouldn't throw stuff at your kids. But also, our parents and grandparents were doing the best they can with what they had.
Right.
And so yeah, it was really frustrating, and it's hard. It's to this day, it's really hard to not blame yourself for the reason it didn't move forward. And I think I've been thinking about this moment, so thank you so much, Kiko, for giving me this moment of I've always wanted to apologize for what I said, because it was thoughtless, it wasn't kind, And it was a reaction as opposed to a response that I think
Mhm.
the fandom and Latinos deserved. So I'm bummed that I said that. I apologize that I said that. I apologize. I'm currently always in the act of apologizing for saying that. And I hope that Latinos will also learn from this and recognize that, like, we were trying our best.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that it was the backlash that canceled the show, or didn't get renewed for a second season. And I'm really disappointed that we didn't get that second season, because when the first season came out, my family and my friends watched it, and they're, my family's not people to blow smoke up my butt. Like, they will tell me if they didn't like it.
Yeah.
But even the cousins who called me a coconut growing up, even my cousins who always asked, why don't you speak Spanish to grandma and grandpa? Why don't, like, what's wrong with you? Even they said that hit the mark. That was us growing up.
Yep. I agree.
People who said that that's not right, they don't even know. They don't know. And that was really important for me to hear. And also, like, I'm bummed out because I would have loved to have gotten a second chance to show people that didn't resonate, Latinos that didn't resonate with the show, that, like, we can tweak it so that there is more there's more resonant with you, and that also, like, let's go deeper so that you can see what my family was like.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
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 Well, as a just from a personal perspective, as a Mexican American coconut, as you say, because I don't speak, I'm very little Spanish myself. But before this interview, I had to count how many cousins I had on one side of the family, and it was over 35. So
Yes.
come on,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's real
It-
for a lot of
it's real.
us. Yeah. Yeah. And that was the thing that, like, for me, it was totally, when I read, Tater has 12 cousins coming over, I was like, okay, Tater, you can't handle 12? Like, okay, Tater. Because, yeah, my first cousins are somewhere close to, like, 50.
Wow.
And yeah, my mom was, is the middle child of 11 kids.
Yeah.
So, and all of those kids had between 3 and 7 kids themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now all of those kids are grown up and everybody has their own kids. So it's like, when the clan comes together, it is a small city. You know?
Exactly. It's like a mafia
So,
family almost,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
I was with my
So,
grandmother a few weeks ago. She just celebrated her 95th birthday, my
oh,
grandmother. And
congratulations.
she had 12 kids and they all had 3 or 4 kids, so that's how you add it up. And we're
Mm,
sitting in her house and it's like, how did we all fit in this house during Christmas? Because we remember everybody was like shoulder to shoulder with
yeah,
all the cousins and the tios and tias. So it's
yeah,
crazy just to think
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Every Christmas we'd all go to my grandparents' house too, and it was like, we know we all slept in the living room, but how? Yeah. Like, how did we do that? And, like, yeah, it was like a 2.5 bedroom house that, like, my grandparents weren't going to sleep with other people in their room. So we
Right.
had 2 bedrooms, a living room, and then a patio. I'm like, did some people sleep out in the patio? I think they
Maybe.
did. Yeah. You know? Where it was like, some people just didn't sleep at all, I guess. Like,
That's funny. That's great.
yeah, yeah.
We'll get into tomatoes now, and I'm being facetious with my question here, but what was your first reaction when you read the words "Attack of the Killer Tomatoes: Organic Intelligence" in a script? What was it? This sounds amazing, or was it like I need to call my agent?
um, my agents were like, "You may have never heard of this," and I was like, "To hell, I haven't." Um, my dad, both my parents fight about which one is the biggest weirdo, and which one made us so weird. I think it was my dad. He
Okay.
was a very, like, closeted, quiet weirdo, and we were way too young. I probably was about 6 or 7 when my dad popped in the double feature of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Airplane.
Oh my
And yeah. And then the next weekend it was Cheech and Chong. And I was like, I don't
God.
understand this, but it's great. um,
Right.
So, which was exactly the same with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Airplane, was like, I don't understand this, but this is hilarious. So I grew up knowing about it, and
Okay.
not only was it like the first movie my dad let us watch, but then like when my cousins would take care of us on Saturday morning, they were like, "Well, we'll just watch cartoons. Let's just watch cartoons and eat
Right.
cereal," and that's like how you're supposed to take care of kids in my mind now. Um, so, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes animated series would come on after,
Right.
I think it was like DuckTales or something. I don't know, but I would be like, "Okay, this is a rad." Okay, the Killer Tomatoes this is a rad show. So I always kind of had an understanding that this thing existed, and my agent was like, "You may not know about this," and I was like, "I know about this." Uh, and I read the script, the full script, and I was like, "We're back.
Yeah.
We're back, baby." And it was a meld of like the weird stuff that I interpreted as a child with the
Yeah.
first Tomatoes movie, and then the weird stuff that I watched as a
Right.
child with the animated series. And I think I even in my mind was like, it'd be really cool if these tomatoes were puppets. And
Yeah.
I asked once I got the role, I asked the director about it, like, so how are we depicting these tomatoes? And he was like, puppets. I
Great.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, so we're of the same mind.
Yeah, because you're worried
Uh,
about the CGI, they're gonna do,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's organic intelligence. It's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, or am I gonna have just tomatoes smushed on my face, or are we actually, or is
That's
it all
hilarious.
green screen? Is it mocap? I don't know. So yeah, it was exciting. It was really exciting to take a look at it and be like, I I know this. I know how to do this.
And then when that poster comes out, you're right smack in the middle of it, jumping over a tomato. You look like another kind of superhero that we haven't gotten before. So that must have been pretty exciting.
So fact check, I'm writing the tomato.
Are you writing it?
I'm
Okay.
writing it. Yeah. So to answer your question, yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm like kicking my microphone here. Uh, I read the script, and Marina Cifuentes is a federal vegetable investigator, which
Right, right.
in the world it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Why wouldn't you? And like the director and I talked about it, and he's like, I know. Every time we would talk about it, he would caveat every weirdness that was in the script as like, I know it's hard to believe, and I would answer with, not at all. In this world, it's like the Department of Agriculture. You need a federal vegetable investigator. And so I believed it right away because mostly anything and everything can happen in animation, and that's always where my mind is. And also, like, it was really exciting for me to see a federal agent, taking action, no nonsense federal agent, um, Latina, and that she has this lifelong experience with these killer tomatoes. So
Hmm.
it felt really, I'm going to say the thing, organic. Uh,
That's good. I
because,
like it.
thank you. Because there's a lot of times in films like the Latino or the person of color is kind of plopped in to fit diversity without
Right.
considering the whole scope of the person and how the history, how the culture of this person's family, this person's Latino experience, or any kind of experience outside of whiteness, how it impacts this world that they live in. And from the get-go, uh, the writers were very clear that like her whole life has been with the shadow of the tomatoes.
Hmm.
So make it your own. and if anything in the script doesn't sound like her whole life, her whole childhood was impacted by tomatoes in a real way, in a way that like her Mexican family would have been impacted by tomatoes, then change it for
Yeah.
yourself. And in my mind, it was like, oh my God, how are we going to have salsa de tomate? Like, oh my God, how do we make guacamole and pico de gallo? Like, this is overwhelming. And I hope it is clear that I brought that in of like, this is high stakes, do or die, life or death, because we cannot have pico de gallo if these tomatoes are killing us.
That's hilarious. I love it. So yeah, like Jaws made people afraid to go swimming. Do you Attack of the Killer Tomatoes has, is gonna stop them from eating pico de gallo, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, and that changes our world.
That's great. How would you be able to survive a tomato attack if it happened in Los Angeles? I'm guessing you're in Los Angeles, but
Yes, yes.
if it happened in Los Angeles, how would you survive the week?
Man, it'd be hard. um, yeah, well, I think I'm like thinking back of what's in my refrigerator right now, and I'd be dead. I'd be dead in my sleep.
Right.
There are 4 tomatoes that are very clearly easy to kill me right now. I think it would be hard if those 4 tomatoes in my fridge don't kill me. Um, I'd like to think I'd make it, especially after the training of this film. I'd like to
Right.
think
Oh, you got some
that.
trade, you got some physicality out of it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
um, yeah. So and we as the cast know a lot of the secrets as to how to defeat the tomatoes. So thinking about what's in the fridge as well, I think we'd make it. I think we'd make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband is also a Marine.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah. So he's ready for any kind of threat. And he did quite a bit of help with the film as well. So I think he's really well equipped and well aware of like if and when a tomato attacks, he'll be ready. So without him, yeah, I'd die in my sleep. But because I'm with him, I think we have a fighting chance.
There's been so many movies over the, cinematic history where, food or inanimate objects have come to life to kill people. I think of like Christine with the car, there was a movie
Yeah.
in 2010 called Rubber. I don't know if you saw that, but it's a killer tire. There's been
Oh,
a killer
wow.
dress. There's been a killer dress recently, it's crazy. But so why do you, just
Yeah.
before I let you go, but why do you think this franchise has been able to last so long? What is it about what is it about a killer tomato that has crossed many generations of movie watchers?
Um, Picky eaters.
There you go.
Um, well, fully and really, I think it's because it is one of the first films to really put in the zeitgeist, if you will, of killer inanimate objects.
Right.
So I think like if you go down the rabbit hole of killer dress, killer tire, you know, um, killer car, you
Yeah.
eventually trickle down to killer tomatoes. And it's so silly that it remains kind of a cult classic. And one of our premieres here in Los Angeles, like we were very like we were like no, it's just going to be the cast and crew that shows up, and people showed up because it is such a cult classic.
Yeah.
And even if you haven't watched all 4, you've watched one of them, or you've
Right.
been impacted by the animation, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, like I think it's just kind of its time on Earth is long enough that everybody encounters it, and I'm gonna stand by picky eaters.
No, I
I
love that
think,
answer.
yeah, I think there's a lot of people that don't like tomatoes, and either Killer Tomatoes is making a cause for them to not eat tomatoes, or it's proving that there's a way you can enjoy your tomatoes because there's a way to defeat them.
This is definitely one of those movies you're probably not going to want to show your kid yet, and if he's a picky eater.
You know what though? At the conventions, we had been saying to kids, because kids have been very like, I don't like tomatoes. If we have to kill the tomatoes are going to kill us, we have to kill them. And so one of our slogans became, "Eat your tomatoes before they eat you."
Oh, wow, that's
So
great. I hadn't heard that
yeah,
one before. That's awesome.
yeah. So that kind of like parents were like, "Thank you." And we're like, "Yeah." That became our slogan. And there were some kids that were like, "I love tomatoes," and we're like, "You're the safest one. You're our
Yeah.
welcome to the resistance."
I guess we'll both agree, just as long as we don't get a killer Pico de Gallo movie, we'll be fine.
Yes, exactly. Will not survive that one.
Hey Myrna, thank you so much for taking the time. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate your taking the time on a weekend to talk to me. But
Of
congratulations
course.
on Killer Tomatoes, of course, and of course I love talking to you about everything else in your career. But you have a fan here, of course, here in San Antonio. So anytime anything comes up that you want to talk about, let me know. And anytime you're
Yeah.
watching a movie and you're like, "Hey, look, there's a Latino in the background."
Not
Um,
just.
tell
I
me and let
will.
me know. I'll
Yes.
jump on I'll jump on a call with them as well. I'm always looking for more people
Yes.
to interview. So
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Kiko. This
thank
was
you
a
so much.
wonderful chat. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.